Hello and welcome everyone to Women's Speakers Association's WSA TV Women's Premiere Show. Hey, if you're caring for someone who's aging, or you're concerned about your own process of aging, or maybe you haven't even given a thought to the aging process because you're not in that or you're not dealing with somebody, but there are a lot of people aging today. This show is going to enlighten you, tell you how to age well, how to support others in aging well, and why you should do so. So I'm super excited because I have some experts in the house here who are ready to who I want you to meet, first of all, and share that advice. So let's go and meet them. Hi, Cecile.
Hi, Laura. My name is Cecile Rayner, and I am a mind body wellness coach. And you can find me at cecilrayner.com.
Wonderful. Great to have you here. And hi, Lucky.
Hi, Laura. Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Lucky Lordson, and I'm a registered nurse, educator, and speaker. I'm also the founder of a company called AgeWise Business Solutions, and you can find me at agewisebusiness.com. And I'm calling from beautiful British Columbia, Canada.
Great to have you. Thanks for being here. And hi, Patty.
Hi, Laura. Nice to be on your show. And I'm calling from Los Angeles, California. I am a RN healthcare consultant, and my company is MedLegal Healthcare Consulting, and I can be found at mlhcc.com.
Welcome. Okay, so I'm in some incredible company here for a topic that's not easy always to talk about, but we're going to talk about it because that's what we do here at Women's Speakers Association, and we have women who take on tough, challenging topics. And Cecile, I thought you could start us off with giving our viewers advice on how to deal with the effects of aging, or how you help people feel better.
Yeah, so as an Alexander Technique teacher, my specialty is to teach people how the wise way to use their bodies. And a lot of people have unconscious habitual patterns that they're not aware of that are creating poor posture, neck pain, hip problems, and they keep trying to stretch it and fix it, not realizing that if they don't address the unconscious habits, they're not really fixing the problem. So it's my job to help them make those connections so that they can uh, get the most out of everything they do, and they can age gracefully. Oop,
Oh,
I,
and aging gracefully is what we want to do. That's
yes.
such wisdom to get in touch with our bodies is really what
Mhm.
you're promoting, and we don't think about it. We think we're in touch, but what I heard you say is we might not necessarily be in touch.
Exactly.
Is there something, one piece of a tip somebody can do to start getting more aware of their body?
Um, I mean, always tell people it's great to be mindful, of course, to be in the present moment, to pay attention to your whole body, not just where it hurts or where you're stretching. But it's really key to get some expanded awareness because you can only be mindful of what you're aware of. And if you don't have that awareness of those unconscious habits, you may be doing a lot of stretching and strengthening and whatever. And in the end, you're not closer to getting really better. So, yeah, mindfulness combined with expanded awareness.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And I know you have a ton of information and
Yeah.
a wealth of resources, and I wish we had time to go into it. But we'll come back to you in a little bit. And I wanted to hear from Lucky about, about this aging process and the awareness. What advice do you have for people to get more, aware on a different level of other people's aging?
Well, I think it's very important that we ensure that people are knowledgeable around aging because a lot of people are living longer, there's no doubt about it. And we're starting to see a lot more people in their 70s and 80s that continue to live in the community as opposed to going into independent living or residential facilities. So and seniors are part of the fastest growing generation in history. So we're going to see more and more of them. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. So it's very important that we make ourselves very aware to the aging process and how differently people are aging. I've seen 90-year-olds that look like they're 60, and I've seen 60-year-olds that seem like they're 90. So it's a very individualized thing, and it's very important for us to understand how we can best support seniors in the community by elevating our own awareness.
Seems to be a theme here. Awareness of your body, awareness of the people around you. Get to know what's going on, because then you can do something about it. And Patty, I'd love for you to chime in on, okay, so if we're aware of what's going on, maybe we have to care for somebody. What 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 solutions for aging well do you have, and advice?
Well, my advice as far as that goes is that I think it's so important to really take the time to prepare for the unexpected. I have had, I've seen both sides of the fence basically, where people have not prepared and it's been disastrous, versus those that have taken the time to really figure out where everything is that they need for their loved ones, or have the document care plan in order. It makes a huge difference going forward for the families and everyone involved.
So we need to know where our documents are for our family members. Give us a couple of things that, in addition to that, what else should we be aware of that would really make the aging process easier for on the family even, right?
Yes, it's basically, I think the most important thing is to really know, to take some time to really find out what the person wants going forward. If they were in any kind of an emergency situation, so you know what their wishes are, and to be able to find everything that you need, and to be able to kind of help the process for all those involved.
So important. So what's really magical about today's show is the three of you. First of all, becoming aware of your own body and how can you take care of it and move better and longer with less tension and stress, like Cecile, you were talking. And Lucky, being aware of those around you and what support they need, and how can we be better as a community as we all age, because guess what, we're all aging. Right? And thirdly, if you're caring for someone, or someone who's in the aging process, and they need to be cared for, to make it easy on yourself, you got to know where those documents are. You got to know what their wishes are, like Patty, you were saying. So you have a trifecta. We have a trifecta here, a really beautiful about the solutions for aging well. So I want to learn a little bit more about the three of you and your specific area of expertise. Who do you work with and what do you do, Cecile?
So I inspire and guide people to dance the joy of wholeness. And I do that by helping them to um, move the wise way, which means in an integrated way where all the body parts are working in harmony at all times, and also where the mind and the body are working at all times, and also how they feed themselves to make everything work. So I call those Cecile's wise ways. And I have those three: the wise way to be in your body, the wise way to eat with whole food nutrition, and the wise way to yoga, which is the title of my book, actually.
I love that. And do you have a story about either how you got to this place or how you helped somebody?
Yeah, yeah. So actually, when I grew up in France, where everybody's skinny and I'm kind of sturdy, and so of course I had body image issues at the time, and I went very much in my head, and so I was very disembodied. And when I became pregnant, I had an epiphany, which I don't have time to explain today, but it made me realize that I wasn't as embodied as I thought, given that I was doing 3 hours of exercise a day and I was working on a PhD. So that got me onto a quest of like, what does it mean to be in touch with your body? And I realized that there are actually different level of awareness, and feeling your muscles when you stretch them or strengthen is only the first level, but there are other levels. And so through my own experience, I started bringing that to the yoga community, because yoga teachers would come to me with aches and pains everywhere. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to bring this work to the yoga community. And now that's my specialty. I teach yoga teachers how to be more embodied, and so they can teach their students. So that's in a nutshell.
That's awesome. That's great that you have that and you're proliferating your work through yoga teachers. Beautiful. So Lucky, I wanted to go over to you and ask you a little bit more about your work. Who do you work with and what do you do?
I work with any business or organization that provides services for seniors. I work with their employees to provide them with senior awareness and sensitivity skills training.
And so, do you have a story about either how you got to this work or how you've helped an organization?
Well, I just wanted to go back and say about the work. I wanted to say that a little bit more. The training, it gives the employees a deeper understanding and appreciation of the impact of aging and the challenges that it can create for individuals in their day-to-day lives. And we also empower them with the right skills and strategies to better serve and support them. So that's the focus of our training. And in regards to a story, because of my background, I've worked with seniors since I was 15 years old, and in my nursing career with over 30 years. And then I also owned an independent seniors living facility. So when I stand in lineups, I notice when there's interactions between seniors and frontline staff quite often. And I've noticed very numerous times difficult, stressful, and even embarrassing situations on the front lines that could have been avoided had the younger employee known, had a better understanding about seniors and aging. And I started thinking about other stories, because friends and families, they often tell me about stories of situations that have occurred with their family members that are older, that they were unhappy about. And one that really stuck in my mind was my friend's mom. She's quite independent. She's 80 years old, quite active, and was going to meet some friends at a popular restaurant. She's independent, but she has some problems with her hearing and vision, and she walks with a cane. When she arrived at the restaurant, she was directed by the hostess to, she was the first one there, and she directed her to sit at a bar stool, a high bar stool. So her mother complied and she sat on the bar stool, but then shortly after fell off and broke her hip. But what really surprised me is the fact that often, what is visibly challenging for a senior is invisible to those that are serving them on the front lines. And as a professional with decades of experience, working with seniors, I noticed this time and time again, and that's why I think it's very important that employees and businesses and organizations that serve seniors get to have this training and recognize these issues. So there's just some basic foundational knowledge that they need.
That's beautiful that you bring that awareness to the organizations and to people in general so that we can have a population that's aware and supportive of people aging. Like, duh, okay, great. But it's not obvious if we're not thinking about it. So thank you for the good work you do. And Patty, I'd love to hear about your work. Who do you work with and what do you do?
Sure. So I work, basically most of the people that I work with need some kind of services, some kind of care coordination services. So the majority of them are like even 60 plus, where basically they're either starting to plan for their ongoing years or they are looking to help get some help and get some guidance with their parents, for example, as far as kind of things that they need. And so usually I am contacted by either families or insurance companies or attorneys, estate law attorneys, for example, who need somebody to help them get coordination for their families.
And do you have a story about either how you came to this work or how you help someone?
Yes, I think one of my favorite stories is I'm also an aging life care professional, and I had a family where they had decided that they were going to put their mom in an assisted living type or facility, and she was adamantly opposed. She just did not want that at all. And the family's concern was that they just did not feel like she was safe to be in the home, or were worried that something was going to happen. So I came in and I did a comprehensive geriatric assessment and home evaluation, and we were able to make modifications to her home and get the people in place to help her. And she ended up that she lived out all her years in her home, and it was a really special experience. Everybody was happy, and it all worked out well. So yeah.
Yeah, there are all kinds of options and people don't know what they are and they just think of the first thing that comes to mind, but really this is someone's life. So thank you for taking the time to do that. Thank you, all of you, for this. I'm so honored to be here with you who are making such an impact. And I wanted to know, what is it that Women's Speakers Association has already valued that is brought to you? Because we love bringing out your message to the world. So Cecile, I thought you could let us know the value of Women's Speakers Association.
Yes. Well, as I said earlier, I published a book in 2018 called The Wise Way to Yoga. And it made sense for me to be part of an organization that will support me in promoting my book. Now, a teacher student of mine actually started a podcast with the title of my book, a podcast series. So that's another thing I want to promote. And I have an online course that with the same title that's about to be launched. So for me, Women Speakers Association made sense to get support and guidance as to how to promote all this to get some kind of global influence, which started already, but to enhance it. So that's my take on this.
Beautiful. Thank you. That's what we do here at Women Speakers Association. We help you get seen and we give you the training of how do you bring out the visibility of these programs, your books, your work, your speaking, get booked and get paid. So beautiful. And Lucky, why don't you share with us about the value of Women Speakers Association for you?
Well, for me, I think it's just having that connection with other women that are like-minded women that are sharing their programs and their gifts out there in the world as well. And to be the support to encourage you to get out and speak and become a better speaker. Also gave me the opportunity to be part of a book, and this will be the first time for me. So I will have a chapter in Voices of the 21st Century, the third edition, that will be coming out in the next couple of months. So I'm very, very excited about that.
Yes, that's the other thing we do. We do help you create your voice in a book as well. We have WSA Publishing that if anybody wants to see what our books are about, go to voicesofthe21stcentury.com, and that's 21ST for 21st. So thank you. We are proud to have you as an author in the book as well. And Patty, would love to hear from you about your experience with Women Speakers Association, the value it's bringing to you.
Oh, I think it's great. I love all the resources, the connections, the people, the opportunities, and like Lucky said, just being involved with a group of really dynamic people that are kind of interested in a lot of the same topics, but also have a lot of diverse different ones as well.
It's true. I mean, I'm putting all of you on screen now, but all of you together came together in this show about aging and health and having more flexibility as we keep going on in life. And so it's just amazing what connections will form out of just this one meeting. And we've done this publicly, but you now all have a connection to each other. And so do you, our community, have a connection now to these women. And we hope you've enjoyed the solutions we've brought to you on aging well and continue to age well. And we'll be back with you for next week with another edition of the Women Speakers Association's WSA TV Women's Premiere Show. And we have a special guest next week, and she is going to talk to us about your book. How do you actually bring revenue in from your book? So stay tuned. Come on back. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for having